The OnePlus 11 is silently one of the best flagship phones that you can get in 2023. I've reviewed it, I've made a lot of videos about it, and still, even several months later, it's been out for like 4 months now, and it's still a great option. So you take a look at the landscape. You look at the S23, starts at $799. 6.1 inch display, 1080p. The cameras aren't the greatest in the world. They're not the ultra level. They're kind of last year's cameras that they carried over to this year, and it's a good phone. I love the S23, but it's $799, and then you take a look at this at $699, and you get the big display, Quad HD Plus resolution. You've got the quad camera set up on the back. The cameras are actually pretty good, and I made a comparison review video about this a long time ago. It surprised me how good the cameras are. It keeps up pretty well. Is it pixel level? No, just under that. Is it S23 level? No, just a little bit under that. But it takes some really good photos. I mean, when you talk about cameras in 2023, it's hard to find a flagship phone that doesn't have good cameras, right? We just nitpick little things here, and well, the HDR is a little better on this one. The low light's a little better on this one. But the OnePlus 11 competes very well. It's had a couple software updates. Of course, we're running Android 13. This right here, at $699 is a good deal. But even right now, you can get it with activation at Best Buy for $499. So if you just want to go there, go to Best Buy, activate it, which basically means just add it onto your phone plan, you can get it for $200 cheaper. $499 for this. And it competes with the S23 Ultra in a lot of ways. It beats and competes the Pixel 7 Pro in a lot of ways. And of course, that's an $899 phone. It's been on sale recently too, but yeah, $699 or even at $499, amazing deal. And one thing I really love about this phone is the speed. You've got the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2, which is great. That's the same chip that's in the S23 Ultra that everybody's been raving about. It's the same chip that's in the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V that I've been raving about. So it basically fixed everything of last year. And I feel like I talk about this in every single one of these phone videos because it's like, oh, this chip fixed all the problems of last year. And it really did, because the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 had heat problems, battery problems, you name it. And it created a lot of issues for all the big phones. So yes, the heat issues, gone. And of course, it does have great power and performance. It has good standby time. It has this beautiful AMOLED display. They make some of the best phones in the business. Of course, they don't make their own screen, but it's a beautiful screen. And that's one thing that you always notice when you pick up a OnePlus phone is the screen looks great. And it's nice, it's big, it's got a good ratio on it. And of course, you've got the ever so popular mute switch. Yes, an Android phone with the mute switch over here. One click puts it on vibrate mode, one puts it on silent. You can go back to normal mode. So you don't even have to worry about going into the settings, turning down your volume, making sure it's turned off. Some people really like that. And then it's got 80-watt charging. So this phone can recharge from 1 to 100% in like half an hour. How many phones can do that, right? Not a whole lot. And it comes with the charger, which is something that's also a really nice thing, because when you take a look at Samsung, no charger. Sony, no charger. iPhone, no charger. Google, no charger. So these guys are still giving you a charger in the box, but not just some rinky-dink cheap charger. It's one that charges super fast, quick, and in a hurry, almost 100 watts, right? I mean, outside the US it is, but in the US, 80 watts. So you get that. Now, some people will say, well, it doesn't have IP68, it doesn't have wireless charging, and it doesn't have display out on the USB-C. Those things, at $499, I think are pretty much a non-issue. But when you can recharge your phone 50% in like 15 minutes by throwing it on the charger, do you know how fast you can actually recharge your phone on wireless charging in 15 minutes? Like 2%. So wireless charging is not the greatest end-all be-all. I know some people like it, but I think there's a great argument that says whenever you can plug your phone in for 15 minutes and have 50% battery, I mean, that's kind of hard to say. I don't really care about wireless charging. Even though I have great phones with wireless charging, I never use it. So that's a nice thing. Plus, it doesn't degrade the battery as much. Like wireless charging, from what we know, still is a little bit harder on the battery than regular charging. Now, of course, 80-watt charging, yes, probably won't make your battery last 10 years. But they're offering lots of support for this now. So they've upped their software support, 4 years of operating system updates, 5 years of security patches. So Samsung, basically across the board, has compelled a lot of other brands to get on par. So you get better software and operating system updates than ever. So you can use this phone for a long time. And that's one thing too with the chip that's in here, the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2. I've talked about this in the Sony phone. I've talked about it in this phone even before, and the S23 series. It finally gives me the confidence that these phones are going to last for a few years. Like, I didn't have a whole lot of confidence in the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1 last year being able to go the distance. Like, what's the good of being able to say the phone's going to last 5 years if it's having problems after a year, right? So you got a lot of good things going here. No, people don't really talk about this phone. Everyone says Samsung, 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 Apple, Apple, Apple. But whenever you take a look at the landscape, you look at the economy, people don't want to spend $1,100 on a phone. So when you have an opportunity to get something that's just as powerful and just as great as the S23 series, has great cameras on it, has a beautiful screen, has a big all-day battery that has super fast charging, but then you say, okay, $11.99 for an S23 Ultra, or you can get this as low as $4.99 with activation. I think that's a great conversation to have. And they also have some nice accessories too. So OnePlus, they have their own cases, but they have this aramid fiber case. I absolutely love it. And if you buy one of these, I wholeheartedly recommend this case. I don't have any affiliate links or anything crazy like that. But just saying, I use this on mine. It looks great. It's very complimentary. Of course, you got Gorilla Glass Victus and all that great stuff. So the phone's pretty well protected. But then if you grab one of these cases, it works great. And definitely you want to get a case because, yes, it has this smooth touch finish on the back, but it's the slipperiest phone probably I've ever picked up in the history of mankind. I was so worried when I first got this phone, I didn't even want to take it outside because I was worried it was going to slip out of my hands. I was going to drop it. I took it to the zoo to take pictures, and I did drop it. I caught it, thankfully, though. So thankfully I didn't smash it. That would have been bad. And if you want, you can get the 256 model that has 16 gigabytes of RAM. The baseline model, which is the one that you can get for $499 at Best Buy right now, it's got the 128 storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. But if you go up an extra $100 to $599 with activation, you can get the 16 gig 256, which is pretty cool. They don't have expandable storage, but yeah, I really like this phone. I was big on the 10 Pro last year, but even bigger on the 11 this year. And I like that they didn't make a Pro. It makes it nice and simple. You're not like, well, should I get this model? Should I get that model? OnePlus scrapped all that. Hey, let's call it a Pro. They just made the 11. And I think it's enough that it's pro level. I mean, especially a lot of folks have concerns about the Pixel 7, the Tensor 2 chip, especially with the heat issues and things like that. So whenever you look at the landscape and see what's out there right now, especially when you talk about $400, $500, $600, you can get a Pixel 7a or you can get a OnePlus 11. And 10 out of 10 times, I would recommend the OnePlus 11 over the Pixel 7a. So, and even the Pixel 7. If you could say, okay, $599 Pixel 7 or $499 Pixel 7 or $499 OnePlus 11, I'm going to say OnePlus 11. I think the Pixel 7 is a great phone, but with everything that you get in this, with the higher resolution, with the more RAM, with the better processor, and with the full complement of cameras, and all the great stuff that you get here, I think it makes a really compelling alternative, especially when most people who think of Android, most people think synonymously, okay, it's Samsung. Samsung's a go-to, and you may not see this on a lot of carrier shelves, but at $499 with activation at Best Buy, fantastic deal. Even if you get it for $599, it's a great phone. If you get it at $699, it's still a decent option, but $499 is really compelling. So that's all I got in this video. I just wanted to kind of talk about this again. Haven't talked about it in a while. It's been out for 4 months, and it's still a really good phone. Like, I still pick it up. I still put my SIM card in every once in a while, and there's a... It's just a fun phone. It's nice. It's elegant looking, premium build quality. It looks different. And of course it is different. And of course it runs the Oxygen OS, which is their version of Android 13, which a lot of OnePlus diehards will tell you is not any good, but it actually is quite good. It's smooth, it's fast. I have no issues with it. I've been using OnePlus phones for years. So I like what they're doing. I hope they keep it up, and we'll see what they do with the rest of the year and into next year. But for right now, I think that this is a really compelling option for folks that maybe if you're in the market for a flagship phone, you don't want to spend $1,100, $1,200, $900, this is a really good option, and it's going to compete with them in almost every single way. So that's all I've got. If you have any questions or comments, if you like your OnePlus phones, please sound off in the comment section. I'll get back with you, or I'll do my best to. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and the little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.